Hey, good morning, Gabriel. This is a monster of a demo for you for your two Jawa's Junkyard Master Swords. I'm just going to pick one at random, so I'll put this one over here, and we'll go over this one first. One is installed with a Proffie, and one is installed with a CFX board. Okay, they're both one-button setups, which is right here. And that switches on a magnet. That's how the saber was designed. These did come with chassis. I went ahead and I printed my own, as I told you. So I'll show you that here in a second. They both have Carl Chen PCBs in here for your Neopixel connectors. One thing I did not put in here is your blade retention screws. I think actually this one already has it in there. But you have some very tiny blade retention screws. You got two slots for those. So you got one right here, one right here. Because they're so tiny, I went ahead and I left them in your bag. You have a bag of goodies right here that I'll make sure goes back into your boxes. I combined the two goodies from both sabers into one bag, so everything is right here. All right. How to get to your chassis, what you want to do is come over here and unscrew the pommel. They'll both operate the same, they just have different boards. All right, so on this pommel, you'll see that I have a 3D spacer in here. That's meant to stay in there. It helps push the chassis forward. So just go ahead and leave that in there. All right. Before you take the chassis out, what you want to do, this is very important, is come over here and grab your switch and pop it right out. It's got a little magnet that's glued onto it. We'll put that off to the side. You can come over here with your finger in the emitter section and gently push on your chassis and it will pop right out. All right, and then you can just pull this out. Normally, I would suggest people grabbing their hilt and going like this with their hand once or twice and it will pop out. But because this is so hefty, I would suggest just gently pushing from the emitter. All right, so we'll put this off to the side for a second. This is the CFX one. All right, so you got your CFX board right here. Easy access to your SD card. You just pop it in and out with your finger just like that to change sound fonts or whatever you want to do. I do have the fonts that you sent me on here, so everything is good to go on both of them. All right, so a removable battery setup right here. I did use the provided crystal for both of these sabers, so you got that green crystal that lights up. You can see your tactile switch over here has a magnet glued to it as well. All right, so that is obviously how, when this is in the saber and you throw your switch on, that's how it connects to the chassis and it stays like that. All right, so we'll put that off here. They both have fully enclosed 24mm Smuggler's Outpost speakers, and of course your Neopixel connector right here. All right, this can be a little bit tricky to line up in the saber. So what I've done is over here I've made just some Zelda images, but with these arrows point directly towards the tactile switch, and that helps you kind of line it up with the hole. All right, we'll put this in, put a battery in real quick. You hear it fire up, and then of course you can come over here and hit the power button. Now you can see you got your crystal lights up very well, and your Neopixel connector. Blade or blaster bolt deflex is just tapping on the button, and turning the blade off is holding it down. All right, and then to change sound fonts, you want to do a long press on the button. Whoops, sorry. I'll turn that off for you. To change sound fonts, you want to hold down on the button until you hear this.
Sound bank selection.
Sound bank selection, then you can tap to go to the next one. When you find one you like, hold the button down. Okay, now we're going to put this in here. So of course you need to line up this tactile switch right here with this tiny hole right there next to my pinky, right? So when you're putting this in, use the arrows that are in the chassis right here to line up with that hole. And after you do this once or twice, it'll be pretty easy. It can be a little awkward doing it on camera and in the dark. I'll push it in right there. And I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but you can see the magnet right there. So we lined it up fine. All right, so we can go ahead and we can take our switch, throw it right in the hole. It locks onto that magnet. All right, then we can take our pommel and screw it in. When you screw this pommel in and lock it down all the way, it holds the chassis in place. So now we can just come over here and hit power. This one has a bit of a pre-on. Now I know that you're getting the blades, I think, from Saber Trade for these sabers, so you won't be using stuff like this. But this is just a regular 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade. I'm just going to hold it in here since I don't have your blade retention screws in, and show you that it works because the blade fits in there nice and snug. All right, but yeah, 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade if you want to play around with this guy before your blades come. We'll trade sound fonts again.
Sound bank selection. Disgraceful.
Ronin, this is the dual sound font, so you got Ronin and
Lightsabers. She's a sap.
there's two on here, Ronin and Bandit. There we go. So everything lights up nice. Glued all of your pieces onto the saber, so you got your two jewels here. On CFX, for blade lockup on a 1-button setup, you want to hold the button down and hit the saber. You get blade lockup. This thing sounds really good. Huge saber and very heavy. So, you know, turn this off, go to another one.
Sound bank selection.
Disgraceful. Just a simple wonder. What do we do?
Flash on flash.
Sound bank selection.
Just as where are those transmissions, you Decepticon? What have you done with those plans?
You got a nice mix of K-Sith and Kyberphonic fonts on here, and then I'm not sure where the others came from. But you have a Godzilla font, a Master of Swords font. We'll do another one.
Sound bank selection.
Anakin Skywalker.
You owe me one, and not for saving your skin for the 10th time.
Just like that. All right, so we'll go ahead, take the blade out of this one. We'll go over the Proffie one. It's a little bit quicker to switch sound fonts in Proffie. They both have the same fonts. All right, so when we're done, of course, we'll come back over here. We'll take our switch out first thing. If you forget to do that, you could possibly rip the magnet off of the switch or the tactile switch. So it's best to do that first. All right, and then we'll take the pommel off. Again, push the chassis out until you see it, and then pop it out just like that. We'll put this off to the side. When taking the battery out, come over here from the positive side by your speaker, and you can pop it out with your finger just like that. All right, so that one is basically your CFX. I'll put all the parts over here. I'll put that back together off camera, and we'll go over this one, which of course is installed with a Proffie. All right, so same thing. First thing we want to do is come over here and take our switch off, unscrew our pommel. This pommel has the exact same spacer, so just go ahead and leave that in there. Push that out gently so you can pull it right out. These are of course interchangeable because it's the exact same saber, so it doesn't matter which core goes into which saber, but you have the same setup, but there's your Proffie board, SD card and micro USB access. But also on this one there's a copy of the config file that I made for this, so you can see what I did. You can add fonts, take away, you can change stuff, very easy to do. All right, same crystal setup, so I use that in this chassis as well. Now I'll show you how that lights up here in a second. A removable battery setup, and of course 24mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker with your Carl Chen PCB. All right, so we'll throw a we'll throw a battery in this guy too. this first font that you have, I went ahead and I gave you twist off on this. The first font that you have, which is Master of Swords, doesn't seem to have smooth swing, but it does register swings if you swing them hard enough. All right, so I'm not sure where this font came from. It's just a little bit different from what I'm used to. Let's see, if I went slow, you're not going to get it, but fast. Crystal lights up very well. And then twist off. All right, so we'll throw this guy in here. Same way we line it up. Same exact arrows on the chassis. The pre-smooth swing days was a little bit before my time. So I'm not very familiar with that. All right. Get that lined up. See, it's easy to do. Did it on my first try. And then throw the switch on and lock the pommel down. So again, we'll take this 1-inch diameter test blade. It is set up for a full-length blade. I just like using my test blade. It's easier for me to swing around on demos. All right. On Proffie, to switch sound fonts, it's just a long press. Now this Godzilla sound font came with a blade style for Proffie, so I went ahead and I put it on there for you. I had a bit of a pre-on. Blade lockup on this guy is the same on CFX with a 1 button. Hold the button down and hit the saber. All right, now I looked inside the font folder for Godzilla and it gave a link where you could buy a blade style for CFX, but you had to go buy it. The blade style for Proffie was in there, so I went ahead and I put it on your saber. If you want to go buy that blade style for CFX, easy to put on for your saber. All right. Proffie's blade lockup. When you're holding the saber like this, your blade lockup will be out here out here on the blade, so closer to the tip. And then as you move the saber up to the vertical position, the blade lockup moves closer down to the emitter side. All right.
Just a simple wonder.
You can definitely get a workout swinging 2 of these around with your same hand all day. See, I can see it right here. If I held it like this, it'd be out here, right? Now we're back to the beginning, which is the Master of Swords font. Just like that. All right, and we'll go ahead and take the blade out of this guy. I'll take the battery out as well. Same exact process on either one of these. So switch first, remember, then pommel. Push out from the emitter. Pull it out like that, and then simply come over here from the positive side of your battery by your speaker and pop it out with your finger. All right. And that is basically your two master swords. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will get these out in the mail to you by tomorrow. All right, thanks.